Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Star Trek Into Darkness. That's a good friend, John Napick. He's stoked. This is a live episode, guys.
It's my first live episode.
It's a live episode. You know, it's crazy. Like, you know, when
anything could happen.
Anything could happen. Like when 30 Rock does it, you know, and they do crazy stuff. Are they the only show that does live stuff anymore?
Arrested Development did like 2 seconds.
Did like 2 seconds.
ER had a live episode.
That was for
The West Wing did a live episode.
That was also
for the
forever
debates.
ago.
Married with Children had a live episode.
Did they?
Nice. Saturday Night
I
Live does it live.
Yeah, they do.
week.
Like it's
Every
like
week.
every week.
Everybody does.
So this is we have finished up the original series. We're
By the
done.
time this airs, yes.
By the time this airs, we would have been done. We would have discussed Star Trek Into Darkness, the 2013
motion
picture that we watched.
We named our podcast.
We named our podcast after, and we have a shocking announcement to make regarding the future of this podcast.
What's that?
We know what the announcement is.
I'm just all right.
Say it at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
How are we?
What?
1, 2, 3. We are changing the. Sean just started mouthing. Okay.
I don't know the exact words.
I don't either. That was supposed to be the joke. That was supposed to be the funny part.
Oh, well, I got a pretty big laugh.
It's like the improv thing where you say it at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're changing the format.
We're gay.
We're also happy. We're happy to be changing the format. It's no longer going to be a Star Trek centric podcast. But we will be discussing Star Trek: The Next Generation. However, it won't solely be about that.
We're not going to do 7 episodes a week.
Yeah,
that's a little too much.
Because I don't know. Like I don't dislike Star Trek: The Original Series.
No,
I was
I
worried
love it.
that I'd be like, oh, I'm fucking sick of this. I don't want to do this anymore. And especially going into season 3, I thought it was going to be such a chore. But I'm not.
It's actually been okay.
It's been okay. Like season 3 is it. I think it's like. You know, when you have like more than one kid and one's a fuck up and one's like not even like that bad, but just isn't as good as the or no the one there's not the one that's a fuck up. There's one that's great and there's one that just kind of messes up every once in a while. And so you're
compared to the golden child,
compared to the golden child,
the normal one,
you're like you are terrible, and that's what season 3 is like.
Who is saying this to a child?
I don't know, like parents and
good parents,
uncles and like grandparents, like teachers,
mentor figures,
any kind of like authority figure, any kind of adult. Adults are the worst. PU, am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll be discussing, comics, and television programs,
role playing games,
movies, anything. 9/11 truther documentaries. We'll be discussing all manner of things. And this is the last episode of Star Trek Into Darkness.
Are we rebranding?
Join us next week for Into Darkness.
Are we gonna rename it on iTunes and stuff? Are people gonna
Probably
subscribe?
I don't know. I think we can change the name, right?
I have no idea.
I think we can change.
We had to change the name of Team Hurricane every single time Daryl fucks something up.
Well,
He'll never listen to this.
he won't listen to this. I'll be like,
he has no interest.
He'll be like, how long's your podcast? I'm like, it's about an hour and a half. Like, dude, can't be more than an hour. Fucking
like he's some sort of podcast maven. He's the podcast.
But what do you guys think? What do you guys think about that? Well, yeah, we can talk about and the reason being we had already decided that we weren't going to watch 7 episodes for every podcast anymore. We're going to cut it down to like 4. And we might do even less than that. I think for the first episode for next week, we're only going to do the first 2 episodes of The Next Generation, the 2-parter.
Encounter at Farpoint.
Encounter a treat.
And for a treat.
Rob says we're in for a treat. Is that sarcastic?
No, Encounter at Farpoint's a great episode.
It's not a 2-parter. It was a
premiere
movie.
movie.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
So get your shit in order.
Well, that's what I mean. It's a 2-parter in that it's 2 parts of a 2-hour.
And
then when it showed in syndication, they did
exactly split it up.
And hopefully by going with the slow. Oh, sorry. What were you going to say, Rob?
I was going to say you've had the treat of having the remastered original series on Netflix,
right?
Not so with Next Gen,
right?
So you'll need to
we just brace ourselves,
or borrow the DVDs or Blu-rays from me.
No, that's.
I don't want the Blu-rays out of my home.
The thing about the Blu-rays is you you can see like the slopiness of the makeup. You
Yeah.
can see like
It
there's
looks too
an
good.
episode where a Klingon is in
Yeah.
sick bay, and you can see very
Where the
clearly the
prosthetic-
latex makeup. You know,
At the same
and
time,
like it's fine.
the
Like, it
computer
doesn't-
generated effects, though, considering they were late 80s, or actually like you always just okay, those are cheesy 80s.
Right.
effects. But when you see them remaster, you're like, oh, those were really good, especially for the time. I mean, they don't look terribly dated. They were just filmed
Right.
in such a low resolution. So there's some give and take.
One thing I always wondered about Data, next generation character, he's an android.
Can he have sex?
Does he have a penis?
Yes.
No.
He is fully functional.
And
Homegirl. That's what his
Still
girlfriend
multiple
says to her girlfriends. Like they're like, so Susan, does he? Girl, he is fully functional.
That's-
They like high five.
I am
Probably.
fully functional and skilled in multiple techniques.
Multiple techniques.
Nice.
He has like crane
He's
style.
used
Like
twice.
He's
dog,
used
Used that line
twice.
twice.
doggy,
Kirk style.
reverse cowgirl, missionary.
There's stuff you've never even heard
Yo,
of.
no, I imagine so.
In
Klingon love
in
techniques.
some very well-known fanfic that I wrote earlier this week,
It's already well known.
he made a Klingon woman use the safe word. I'm just saying.
Just gonna say.
What?
Yeah.
But his makeup, what I mean, obviously he's supposed to resemble. He's a humanoid. He's supposed to
Right.
resemble a human, and so I can, he has like forehead wrinkles, so I can, I think like, okay, well they want to make him look as human as possible, so they give him forehead wrinkles, but still like he's a very like pale yellow. He doesn't have the skin tone of a human being. So if they couldn't figure out like the skin pigment, they couldn't
But
figure
they
out
figured
that.
out forehead wrinkles.
So they're like, why would they bother giving him forehead wrinkles?
I think that's more as he aged, right? He
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, by the
it's
time-
not like they gave him forehead wrinkles. He had forehead wrinkles.
Brent Spiner brought his own.
But at the same, I would think they might have done something.
That's like getting mad at Buffy because
I'm
the
mad.
vampires get older.
I'm mad at that.
The time passes.
I'm mad at they didn't have the foresight to do that, to think of
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
So
My hope is that we'll get down to Austin
Are you
more
taking
often
notes?
once we start doing next gen. She's going to start writing a short story.
someone just brought out a giant spiral. Someone.
Someone.
I don't want to use your Christian legal name, and this is going out on the internet. Maybe want to use a
Millions of
pseudonym.
people listen to this every week.
Yeah, we're a big
So many
fucking
people.
deal. I'm making my living off this now.
Yeah, Sean doesn't. Yeah, Sean doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, I don't have
He
to.
spends all day consuming brownies and watching TV and ejaculating on his clothing.
Not on purpose. That last part's an accident.
Yeah, it's an
But
accident.
after you've had so much Star Trek and brownies, it's pretty much just over as far as like your personal hygiene.
So yeah, we'll be discussing all manner of stuff. It'll be more of a lifestyle podcast,
Assorted geekery.
assorted geekery,
Assorted geekery. That should be like our T-shirt.
assorted geekery and whatnot.
Yeah.
All right, well let's
If we were a store.
let's get down to brass tacks about what this episode is about. As we have finished the original series, we wanted to have another live episode here in beautiful Austin, Texas, and discuss some of our listeners, their favorite episodes, their least favorite episodes. Maybe get some fan art going on. We have employed a sketch artist
Who only works on lined paper.
who only works on line paper.
College rule.
So who wants to come up first?
Conan.
All right, we got. Sir, can you introduce yourself?
I'm Conan, and I'm here to talk about Wolf in the Fold.
We got Wolf in the Fold.
Fantastic episode.
So for those
Comes out swinging.
For those who don't remember, Wolf in the Fold. For a quick synopsis, it's Scotty and a bunch of them go to a strip club planet, a strip club /
A hookah bar /
like horror
hooker
planet.
yeah.
Kirk has been there plenty of times. He knows the best
He can
places.
vouch for it.
Kirk's like, this place is top notch.
Primo
It's
pussy.
top of the shelf. Top of the shelf. Scotty had and take Scotty there because he had a concussion and it was a woman's fault and he developed an irrational hatred of women for some reason.
Which makes no sense given the
And it's
character.
very clear. It's not just he's mad at her. It's a hatred of
Yeah,
All
like
women.
all women, like how like
It's impossible for him to single out the person who wronged him.
like how men project like their mother, like, the issues with their mother, like with the women they date.
And McCoy presents it as the most rational thing
He's
in
like,
the world.
this is like a real thing, goddammit. And so
I'm a doctor.
Scotty is accused, and it seems like he murdered a whore.
Yes, on the
Let's
London
call a spade a spade. He murdered a whore.
a pleasure lady.
And so they want to put him on trial, but then Kirk's like, no, it couldn't have been Scotty. And
there are psychics involved.
There's psychics involved. There's a
seance.
seance.
And despite the fact that Scotty shows up through not just one, but I think 3 total murders, each time
Right
with
next,
the knife,
Yeah.
clutched in his
catching the
hand,
woman.
right next to the victim, covered in blood.
Kirk's
Just
like,
the fact that
no.
Scotty says, "Oh, I don't really remember what happened." They all take him completely at his word,
And it ends up being there's a
Don't they have a chair they can make us put him?
yeah, and there's
They
like
have a
there's
truth
this
chair that they don't
device.
use?
There's a device that
They
had
can
never
tell
been
you if
used
you
before
or since.
or since, and that can tell what you've been doing for like the past 36 hours. So at this point, like why bother having like any kind of trial ever?
It's like the Veritaserum in Harry Potter. Like once they introduce that, why not? Like there's your answer for
boom,
everything.
there you go.
Yeah.
Use this all the time. Like, did you kill that guy? It's like, no. It's like, well, let's put you in that chair. Like, did you kill that guy? It's like, no. Like, this guy's lying.
He's lying.
so they kind of clear Scotty, but in the midst of the seance, they get a couple of words out.
Yeah.
They run the names through the computer.
It turns out it's
to
a misogynistic ghost that
Yeah.
appears again and again throughout history.
Planet hopping Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, it turns out that it's just like this woman hating spirit. Maybe
It feeds on fear.
the spirit invaded
It's like
Scotty.
it. So Scotty, no, because it was in that dude the whole time. It didn't leave him till he died, and when it left him, he died.
Did Scotty kill that woman?
No,
Okay, because I was gonna
No.
say like that would actually be a good idea. Like
I don't.
that
think so.
that would explain his
No,
irrational
no,
hatred
I
of women.
Scotty did kill them, but he was possessed by that spirit, was what I thought.
Oh, I thought the spirit.
Holy
was
shit!
living
Maybe
in the
this
room.
episode was good. Because I just assumed
Conflicting
And
interpretations.
that's why like he blacks out and doesn't remember anything, is because he was possessed by it. It's not like
And
he was in his right mind, and this Hengist, came in and murdered.
And so that would maybe like after his concussion, that's when the spirit possessed him, and that explained his irrational hatred of women. Right? Is that what you took from that?
I don't know when
Shit
the
on a
spirit
biscuit.
first came in.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Holy shit, that makes total sense.
Perfect sense. Conan, you just changed my top 5
All
list.
right.
Like because before we're like, why would Scotty have so this woman caused an accident? Why would he have an irrational hatred of women based on that? And secondly, why would everyone be like, oh yeah, for sure, totally. Like if I was if that was you, that was Sean. Like, oh yeah, Becca, you're the Khaleesi of the Interdarkness kingdom. It was like, yeah, she left the stove on and I touched it and I burned my hand. I hate women. I'd be like, dude, what? That's stupid.
You need to see a therapist.
Like first off, you can be pissed at Becca for a little bit, I guess, until your hand heals and until it's done.
But she's not a representative of her entire
like
sex.
she didn't do that for womanhood and turn the stove on.
For sisterhood.
So was that your Conan? Was that your interpretation?
I
bringing
never
this up?
really figured out exactly when the spirit first went into Scotty, but I think
Maybe the
The
concussion
murders
had something
were
to do
caught.
with it.
that's
Maybe he's like, oh, he's prone.
Well, they noticed that. I don't think it could have gotten into him there because they figured out that the murders were happening on the planet that the
that
Ron
guy
Howard dude was
Hengist,
from.
yeah.
And
So he brought it
so
up.
Yeah.
so it would have had to have gotten into Scotty after he was down on the planet.
Yeah,
if
True.
it got into it.
Okay, so
Continuity.
I like
snap.
my interpret. I like my.
You should write a fan fiction. Have you heard of rabbinic midrash?
Is that? Are you
It's
fucking
a-
with me?
No, it's a Jewish tradition that basically is about filling in the holes and contradictions in the Holy Scriptures, and there are volumes and volumes of this. There's an institute for contemporary midrash that exists. You should.
For Star
That's what
Trek.
fan fiction is. And the Jews have been doing fan fiction since the dawn of time. You could be doing the Jews.
Jews.
So you could be doing Trek midrash.
Okay. Yeah.